Actually, to be make it simple, you are training the AI like a 5 years old kid. I want to just go back before starting this battery OK technologies. Where were you from, and how was your journey until starting battery OK?
I never spent a penny for the education.
Why do you think this ultra capacitor has not entered inside the industry so far?
The thing is, we don't have good awareness even for the lithium battery pack.
When do you think India will chase the race of manufacturing lithium ion indigenously in India?
The challenge is not to manufacture cells in India. The thing is, after 5 years, China will be ahead of us in that also.
Why do you think the other EV players didn't touch on this point? Or is there a place where they touched on it but it didn't come out, or it is not? Why do you think it is not as efficient as EV Doctor does?
They are focusing on the EV sales. You have seen those charts this month. These are the top 10 EV sellers in India. Okay, so they want to make into that list only.
So where do you
Hmm.
think this might lead to the hydrogen
Okay,
and the EV race?
so mainly the drawback is not on the production side because hydrogen is produced as a byproduct in many industries. Okay, mainly the problem is on the controlling side.
Now I want to take you to a debate of so there is always a thing going behind the inbuilt battery system as well as the swappable battery system. So according to your perspective, what do you think which is the best?
So swappable, not for the commercial purpose. Okay, so there are high chances.
If there is one advice you could give for a 21-year-old who is coming inside to start anything new of his own, what would it be?
Consume content attentively.
Hi Shubham, welcome to the Kaskel podcast and specifically to the climate emergency series. Specifically, this series is made for people who are working on the climate and the climate emergency sector. So today in our episode, we will cover everything about battery OK technologies and the EV doctor which you are working on, as well as how you are bringing an impact to the climate sustainability of India as well as to the world. Welcome you, Shubham.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Oliver, for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to contribute as much as I can.
Yeah. So starting with of your experience, your journey, you started Battery OK Technologies and bought an innovative product called EV Doctor, which helps to test the batteries, especially the lithium-ion batteries, where the EV is booming right now. I want to know a bit more about your product firstly and what your startup is doing in the EV sector.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll start with the journey firstly, and then we'll move forward to the product that we have built so far and what we are doing right now. We
Yes.
started off in 2019. We were building e-bikes, and at that time, e-bikes were not this much famous. People were not using e-bikes, or they were not aware of e-bikes in 2019. So we thought of building affordable e-bikes for the masses. Okay, so that we can cater to daily small wage workers, blue collar workers. We will also cater to the e-commerce delivery partners and everything. So once we dive deeper into that, we found out that we were not able to find the target segment for it. Okay. And at that time, there was not enough interest on the adoption side as well. Okay. So we thought of building an ecosystem for retrofitting the normal cycles to the electric ones. So we were simply getting kits from various vendors, and then we were fitting it into the existing cycles. Okay. After doing some retrofitments, we found out that there is a big issue of the supply chain. Okay, we are still indirectly buying kits from China or any neighboring countries wherever these kits are being imported from. We found out that we are not reliable enough as a whole country for the EV adoption. So we dive deeper into the battery tech, as batteries contribute to 50 to 60% of the overall EV's cost. How can we make a big impact so that we can take care of our batteries and we can take care of the anxiety which EV riders or drivers might face. And in parallel with that, we were working on the performance, safety, and longevity of the batteries as well. Okay, so we thought of diving deeper into the battery tech. And at that time, I met various dealers and distributors across India, participated in various events and exhibitions related to energy, batteries, EVs, transport, vehicles, everything. I saw one dealer in Gandhinagar. Okay, he was putting his bare hands on the battery surface, and if the battery is hot, then the battery is bad. This was his hypothesis, right? And
Was
when
it
I
a lithium
asked,
ion?
yeah, it was a lithium ion, and it was a damaged one, right? So I saw that, and I thought that this needs to be changed because our dealers or our battery stakeholders, they can't test batteries like this, right? Only 1 or 2% of them were having CDC machines, which were bulky, complex machines. You have to put one guy there who is writing the readings for 7 to 8 hours straight. And if one reading is misplaced or any human or instrument error comes, whole time will be wasted, right? So we thought of solving that problem. Then I proposed it to my co-founder Ajay Vashisht. So he was working in DRDO as a senior hardware engineer there. I proposed this idea to him. He told me that I don't know about the market, I don't know about the scope that it might create, but let's solve this problem. Okay, so we started off with normal Arduino board only. We tested some normal small battery packs, and we got the insight about the health, safety, and capacity of the batteries. Okay, so once we did an initial test, we found out that this is a real problem because for us also it took around 5 to 6 hours for getting the health, safety, and capacity of the battery. And at the same time, we were not sure about the error also. So we were not sure whether this reading is right or wrong. Okay, so no one will know, right? So later on, what we found that we need to learn about batteries, we need to learn about the chemistries, we need to learn about the state space and physics based models of it. Okay, so we got in touch with Judy Jivarajan ma'am. She is working as a senior director at Underwriters Laboratories, and she was heading the battery safety division at NASA previously. Okay, so she was the perfect guy to reach out to understand more about the batteries and to keep check on the path that we are following. Okay, so we propose our principles that, ma'am, with this way can we test, with this way can we test, and we did a lot of permutations and combinations there. After almost 6 months of continuous book reading and brainstorming with ma'am and other stakeholders, we found out that DCR measurements can directly help us to get the insights about the lithium plating on dendrite formation inside the batteries, which directly impacts the health and safety of the battery, right? So we got the principle finalized. Then the testing time was reduced to 4 hours using that principle. Right now, fast forward to today, we are working with 100 plus OEMs across the globe. We have 1,000 plus EV dealers as our clients. And right now, we have the world's fastest battery testing technology, and that is indigenous, and that is based out of India only. Okay, so we haven't uh, partnered any with anyone else for the technology transfer or anything. We have made it here in Ahmedabad, in Gujarat, in India. Okay, so this EV doctor is capable of doing the rapid diagnostics of any type of lithium ion battery or lithium chemistry battery within 15 minutes, where you will be provided with all the health, safety, and fault insights. So you will be directly getting all the insights which will directly help you to take actionable decisions, right? What I uh, uh, what I missed was we collaborated with IIT Gandhinagar also for conducting thermal runaway tests. So we did the thermal runaway test when no one was doing and no one was compliant to do, but we did 30 plus thermal runaway tests, 15 LFP and 15 NMC. And we shared our insights constantly on LinkedIn and other social media platforms so that other stakeholders can get some benefit out of it. And right now in IIT Gandhinagar, in fact, we our device is taught as part of the curriculum as well.
That's nice. So this was when in
So from
2017?
2019 to 24, with IIT Gandhinagar, we did thermal runaway test in 2021.
That's great. That's great. So now it's a part of the syllabus too.
Yeah.
So tell me, from 4 hours of testing, you have brought it down to 15 minutes. So what is behind it? How you brought it down?
Okay, so there is like I'll lemonize it because I don't want to sound too complex or too nerdy because it will be like difficult for the audience also and for me also to get straight to the point. So the principle is batteries follow a certain characteristics, right? If we know the characteristics very well, we can identify the patterns of the damaged battery. Okay. Any sort of damaged battery will directly have a different characteristics from the ideal one, right? Now, we have to identify which characteristics I'm talking about. So first one is DCIR characteristics. DCIR is DC internal resistance. It is directly proportional to the thickness of the SEI layer. Okay. So what is SEI layer? SEI layer is a small layer that is formed in the lithium batteries whenever the batteries are aged. Okay. So whenever the aging happens, the SEI layer thickness increases and that directly impacts the DCR values. Okay.
The formation of
Now
dendrites, right?
yeah, so yeah, I'm coming to that only. Whenever lithium dendrites or lithium plating is happening during the aging of the battery, it directly impacts the SEI layer thickness as well. Okay, so as the battery ages, the thickness increases, and the recombination of electrons is hard then. Okay, so by DCR measurement, we are able to do that, and in parallel with that, we have VI profile measurement as well. Okay, or you can say VI curve plotting we do. So for each charging profile, the battery behaves differently. Okay, so for a bad battery or for a damaged battery, the charging profile will be different, and that is not detected by a naked eye, or you can directly have a linear configuration for that. We have 18 plus algorithms. 7 of them are ML based. So we have XGBoost, we have extended Kalman, we have random forest, we have SVR. So we have introduced all the ML and AI algorithms, which are still at the advanced stage, and we have tried the various permutation and combination of the real-time battery data sets. Okay, so by combining ML and AI capabilities with DCR measurements, we are able to do that within 15 minutes. Our target is to do that within 2 seconds. So this is what we are trying to achieve.
That's great. So basically, you are doing B2B model, right? So you are doing it for OEMs and the service stations. Here comes a question. There are multiple types of lithium-ion batteries and multiple type of companies doing it different type of battery systems as well as their BMS is entirely different. So it might be lithium ion, it might be LFP, it might be anything. So what are the do you have any battery chemistry limits that your testing is done for, or it can be done for any type of battery?
Okay. So we started off with lithium ion only. Right now in India, NMC means lithium ion and LFP means LFP. Okay. So that is an industrial slang which people use, right? So lithium ion means NMC. Now we started off with NMC because they are more vulnerable to EV hazards of battery fires or battery hazards. We started off with that, and right now with the capability of 2 lakh plus battery data points or battery data sets, we are able to cater to any type of lithium chemistry battery. Okay, whether it is LFP, NMC, or LTO, you can use it for any type of lithium battery pack, and you will get the results.
I'm just curious to know where you got this 2 lakh data points of batteries.
So most of them were like initially, I'll be totally frank. So initially we explored Science Direct, ResearchGate, and all the research platforms or patent platforms, so that we can get some idea of how the data set will look like. We have explored the archive and various database resources online. Okay, but we were not able to find a single reliable one apart from the NASA dataset. Okay, so the NASA battery dataset is the most like general dataset that is available on the internet. You can directly try your models for those datasets because they are available for free, and you can tag it along or use it along. But later on, we found out that if we want to make it right and make it accurate, we need to have real-time data sets. Okay, real-time on-ground data sets. So we provided hundreds of devices for free to EV dealers across India, and that costed a lot for us. But we did that experiment, and that was successful. They were constantly testing batteries which were coming to them for any kind of damage or during EV servicing, or if battery is showing some misbehavior, range is dropped, or the battery is getting heated. So for any issue, whenever batteries used to come, they used to EV dealers used to check them with EV doctor, and we got the data from there. So most of them, like 80 to 90% of them, is our own data. We got it from our own EV doctor devices. Uh, Apart from that, we got it from various B2B partners and collaborations that we did so that we can create a win-win for the customer.
Nice. So I guess if you don't mind, when you are speaking about these data sets, I'd like to take it a bit more for the technical perspective of audience. What are these data sets and what are the data sets consist of when you are taking a data of a lithium ion or an LFP battery?
Okay. So mainly what we caught attention to was voltage, current, time, humidity. Then we had IR values. We also tried to find the data sheets of the cells they were using and the configuration. Okay, so using these 8 parameters, we were able to identify the DCR measurement. Then we trained our models to in such a way that this DCR measurement should be done in a faster manner. Okay, normally what DCR is, so how people measure DCR, they import a machine, okay, that is for providing an impulse and taking the response out of it. As per the response, you can directly calculate or estimate what is the value of DCR, right? But in simple way, how I can explain it is R is equal to V by I. Resistance is equal to V by I,
Voltage
and
by
R
current.
is equal to voltage by current, and R is also equal to rho L by A, right? So how they are doing it, and no one is wrong or right. I am just putting things into perspective. How they are doing it is R is equal to rho L by A, because they are putting it in the impulse method. uh, Depending on the impulse, how it behaves is the response. Okay. Whereas how we are doing it is R is equal to V by I. Okay. So we are finding it in an electrical equivalent way. They are finding it in the physics equivalent way. Okay. And we have our own accuracies. Okay. So if we want to find DCR values, or if we want to find VI profile, we can directly get it trained fast enough so that within minutes or within seconds, the DCR calculation is possible. Right now, the 15 minutes time period is not taken for the DCR measurement or the VI profile sketching. It is mainly used for getting the accuracy right, because daily the batteries are tested and daily our algorithms are updated, right? So almost 10 minutes is done for the test. Uh, 5 minutes is done for the 5 minutes is taken for the accuracy and validation part.
That's nice. Actually, to be make it simple, you are training the AI like a 5 years old kid without putting
Yeah,
it into
yeah,
complicated
yeah,
formulas. Yeah,
yes, yeah.
that was nice. So we spoke a lot about AV Doctor. I want to just go back before starting this battery OK technologies. Where were you from, and how was your journey until starting battery OK?
Okay, okay. So I did my schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya, KV Shaibag. So it is like CBSE affiliated. I got good marks in 10th. Got some confidence that I'll do better in science as well. Okay, then got some overconfidence during my 12th. so was not able to perform well in PCM, and got fair enough marks in 12th boards, but not good enough marks in competition. Okay, being from an economically damaged background, I thought of doing my BSc in maths. Okay, and then I thought of teaching people or teaching kids, and that will become my profession. That was the simple start, and I'm not bragging or I'm not making it sound dramatic. It was real. Okay, so I applied to there is a college called MG Science in Ahmedabad. I applied there, and I got selected because the fees was only 1,500 rupees per year. That was the only criteria for getting. That was the only option left for me for getting admission into the science background. Otherwise, obviously, engineering colleges are they were charging hefty amounts, and I was not eligible for getting good college in Gujarat. Although I performed well in AIEEE, that was equivalent of JEE back then. But I got NIT Surat, I got NIT Goa in electrical engineering. But although my parents were good enough for pushing me hard that you can do it, I will take loans and all. But I saw their faces and I estimated the emotions behind it, right? So I thought that let me do the BSc only in maths because I have siblings also. They have to be fed right. Okay, so I got admission in BSc Maths, but in parallel with that, I was applying for a scholarship also. Okay, so people who have scored good in boards and not in the overall competitive exams, they can apply for a scholarship, and if the scholarship is passed, you will get admission for free. Okay, and that was totally supported by Gujarat government. I got admission through that, so that BSc path was then it was optional for me. So I did my electrical engineering from a fairly good college that was called Amiraj College. I did my electrical engineering. I never spent a penny for the education. Okay, till 12th also my scholarship was working. In engineering also my scholarship was working. Then then within Gujarat GTU, Gujarat Technological University, in one semester, I don't know the semester, like second semester or first semester, I was in top 100 students in 120 engineering colleges across Gujarat. I was in top 100 students to get good marks. Okay, so that was like eureka moment for us, and I was in that fighting mode that I need a better thing because just because I don't have money, I should not be punished enough, right? So I got good marks, and then till eighth semester, there was no semester where I got CGPA less than 8. Okay. So in all the semesters, I got 8.5, 8.7, 9. In last one, I got 9.2. So this was simply the story on the engineering side. After my engineering, I thought that we'll get placements into NVIDIA and Intel, but obviously we were not able to find good jobs in Ahmedabad, and due to the weak profile of the college, also obviously that works a lot in India. So I started preparing for GATE. In parallel with the preparation, I joined a small company. They were building hardware products. They were building control products for PLC and SCADA applications. Uh, the first salary was of 8,000, and they used to cut some professional tax also from it. Okay, so I got around 6.8 or 6.9. I don't know like what amount they cut and why, but 6.8, 6.9 I got, and later on I found out that I'm not enjoying my work. Okay, so let me do something else, and the money was not enough to feed my family, so I joined an educational institute as a physics lecturer. I taught physics there, and I loved a lot. I loved being surrounded by students. They were asking questions. They were curious, and that was like sparking the fire also in within me. That let's explore the science and let's explore the technology, not exploit it. Okay, so I taught there for 11 months. then got admission in Institute of Infrastructure Technology Research and Management. That is an autonomous university based out of Ahmedabad, and it is equivalent of NITs from India. So they had a program on energy infra, and as a curious observer in science, energy, and technology, I just applied there and got selected, got stipend from them as well. So uh, per month, as per the Ministry of HRD, I used to get 12,400 rupees, okay, as a stipend after the gate clearance and all. Then I applied to Gensol. There is a company called Gensol Engineering that is parent company of Blue Smart. Uh, I applied there during second year of masters, and in parallel with that, we started a venture called Tesla Education, where we used to teach normal students at a fairly good price so that they can afford good education, and we can get some small money out of it. Okay, so that was the intent only, not to make a Baiju or an academy out of it. We were simply trying to help them, and we were simply trying to help ourselves also in parallel. Okay. During my journey in Gensol Engineering as a design engineer, we encountered various problems that people might face or people are facing. I built some hardware products. I loved hardware, and I, still I do. So we made some thermal alarms. We made uh, a tree where you can get electricity from. We worked on Stirling engines. We worked on TUC modules. We built a cap where which Zomato or Swiggy people can delivery partners can directly use for getting electricity that which will be enough for charging their phones. So that was by using TEC modules only. Filed some 2 3 patents in defense, in derailment, for the derailment issue also. We pitched it to RDSO, that is the uh, research and development wing for Indian Railways, and got grants for those patents as well. Two research papers I published that were selected in international journals. So I found that this is going fine. Let's choose academics, and let's complete my PhD also. And in parallel with that, we will teach students. Then one fine morning, I was randomly scrolling Amazon for finding a book, because that stipend was good enough to like buy books and all. So I saw one book by Ashley Vance that was Elon Musk's autobiography. Although I heard his name from various websites, mainly Quora and LinkedIn, but I thought of reading about him and all. So there was a coincidence that he was also given a topic for poster presentation, uh, which obviously unfortunately coincided with mine. Okay, that was ultra capacitors, and I dived deeper into that, and there I developed interest for batteries and energy technologies. So that was the first turning point, or you can say the inflection point, where I thought of building something instead of getting consumed by the academics and teaching to normal kids. So then we started this like this small venture called eVega Mobility Labs. Veg is Sanskrit equivalent of velocity, and E means electrical. So electrical velocity we will power. That's why the name eVega Mobility Labs came into inception. And later on, when we started working on EV Doctor, we renamed it, or in advanced terms, you can say in the name of rebranding, right? Right now they say rebranding. So we renamed it simply to battery okay technology, so that anybody can understand they are making batteries okay. So this is what we do, and right now we are introducing more AI stuff for getting batteries right.
That was really amazing. So actually, you are a top-notch student in all your education, where you studied on scholarships as well. Amazing, amazing, Shivam. Uh, when I started of thinking this climate emergency topic, uh, so basically this climate emergency was since long in my mind, where Even from my college days, I have been working on EV technologies. I have been building retrofitting fitments. So most of the things I have touched on. When we spoke of this climate emergency, even the hotness of this summer has hit my mind that I should take this topic and cover all the industries who are working on this. Now, today, I want to set a ground for people who are thinking of bringing something to the climate change. So, out of that, one of the main things that has already started to boom, this bubble is called the EV technologies. So, which is coming in, it might be EV vehicles, it might be EV battery systems, lithium ion recycling, anything it might be. Along with, there are few other alternatives also, which will come later part. Now, I want to set grounds for people and make them understand what is happening behind and what they have to think when they are starting any particular genre out of these. So, firstly, coming to this, so I would like to start with the previous point that you were mentioning itself from Tesla, the ultra capacitor point. So, ultra capacitors and super capacitors are nothing but a capacitor module, which is not a battery, but which can help in the fastest charging and also a good discharging rate, right? And which is also more efficient than lithium ion battery. If that ultra capacitor is made as a battery, we can even charge the battery within 2 to 3 minutes, which is possible.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
why do you think this ultra capacitor has not entered inside the industry so far? And why this is not able to pass it? So, one consideration is it is not yet capable of holding the charge for a longer period of time, which is
Correct.
there in the research papers. The other point is the cost and some more things. There are many other methodologies behind. So I want your thoughts on it. Why supercapacitors or ultra capacitors is not inside the field still now?
Okay. So after the e-bikes thing, we assembled battery packs. Okay, and at that point, obviously, we explored that how can we make battery packs out of ultra capacitor. Obviously, they have a good power density, so they can charge and discharge in a faster manner than the normal existing battery packs. Okay. The first point you rightly mentioned, power density and energy density. So they can not hold power for long, whereas lithium batteries can. Now, we have been working in the EV industry from last 5 years, right? So we have some notion or some insight from the market side as well. Okay, and it is not just the cost of it. Okay, lithium batteries are costly too. Okay, and if
Yes.
you are making a bigger one, obviously we can have a trade-off. Okay, the thing is, we don't have good awareness even for the lithium battery packs. Okay. Now, ultra capacitors or super capacitors, they are above the awareness programs or awareness levels of lithium battery packs. Okay. Now, handling them, charging them, discharging them will take like almost 2 years for getting it in the mass market, right? So, first thing which I would like to add is mass adoption is always possible when the awareness is there. Okay, we think mass adoption when as a function of the cost only. Okay, but we forget that people are not ready enough for giving attention to such kind of batteries or chemistries which are available. Okay, if it is seamless, if that is not changing any behavior, then it is possible. But if awareness is not there and you are charging the battery in the same way, then obviously it won't be possible. So let's take an example. Suppose you are partial charging your lithium ion battery, that will not make a big difference. But if you are partial charging an ultra capacitor, it will directly hamper the health of the capacitor. Okay. So SEI layer equivalent of capacitor is not there, but it will directly affect the insulation resistance of the insulation which is already there into inside the capacitor. Okay, or you can say the electrode resistance will be higher. Okay, if you are doing partial charging or discharging of ultra capacitors, although it will be a fast one, it will directly hamper the health in the same proportion. Okay. Now, apart from cost and awareness, uh, there is a geopolitical view that whatever China dumps, India carries. Okay, right from the mosquito, that racket, okay, which we use, that is having second life lithium ion cell. okay, or the toys which normal like uh, normal kids play, they are all powered by second life lithium ion cells and all. Okay, so China knows what India consumes. Okay, and we are not ahead of the curve. We are just behaving that we are ahead of the curve in some technologies or something. We are behind the curve, but we can make a difference if we are really betting on some technologies and we are taking some risks. Okay. So right now we are catching up the curve of lithium ion cells only. We are finding reserves, we are finding various refining methods, or we have startups who are doing fast charging battery packs or modules or cells. Till date, cells have not started building at mass scale in India, right? So we are catching up that curve only. Supercapacitors and ultra capacitors curve is possible if we have some invention to it or some uniqueness to it. If we are simply following the outsourced stuff, the outsourced knowledge that we are getting from US, China, Germany, or Japan, obviously we will not catch up the curve. So in India, on the hard tech side, or you can say on the hardware technology side, we are catching up the curve. That is the biggest problem. And some influencers like who are taking the guideline of manufacture in India, made in India, or something like that, they are simply pushing the proposition of making it in India. Why not invent in India? Okay, manufacturing is cloning, right? But invention is real. Okay. So what we are doing, even if we are talking about manufacturing and all, we are simply copying the models of China and USA. Why can't we have an Indian dream which is above American or Chinese dream, where we are inventing it in India and we can outsource it to China or any other place, Vietnam, where we can get it mass manufactured. Okay. But just to solve the issue of unemployment, which is really like damaging, instead of unemployed folks, if we have n number of entrepreneurs coming out who can easily invent various stuff, and our engineers have those capabilities. If we are not, if they are not engaged with reels or any other distraction, then obviously more inventions and more discoveries are possible.
I agree that point. Coming to the geopolitical view, most of the lithium ion manufacturing is done by China. Even barely they have the lithium ion refineries. They just do the refinement of the lithium ion sources and they manufacture lithium ion and they give it to the out of the world. So even in India, we found lithium ion reserves, right? There are in Jammu and Kashmir, it might be in Rajasthan, maybe there are lithium ion reserves. So this is just a starting point of where we can find lithium ion, but there is a bigger thing going behind how to process it, basically, which China does it very easily, and the companies, top companies like Capital and these people are working on it. When do you think India will chase the race of manufacturing lithium ion indigenously in India?
Okay. So we are in touch with some cell manufacturers. Okay. We have signed NDAs with them because they are on their way to make battery packs as well. Within 3-4 years, we will be having made in India cells, and that will not come from 2 or 3 players only. There are more than 10 players who are like on their way to make cells in India within 4-5 years. Okay. Now coming to the pessimistic view, technology adoption or market changes or any geopolitical changes or raw material changes can hamper this growth. But within 5 years, I'm sure that India will be having our own cell capacity. The problem is not manufacturing, like the challenge is not to manufacture cells in India. The thing is, after 5 years, China will be ahead of us in that also. Okay.
Yes.
At that point, we will be making cells. So suppose we are making uh, like 100 crore cells per year. Okay. In 2028 or 29. Okay. But China is already producing 100x of that. Okay. So still we will be behind China and behind US at least by 5 to 10 years. Okay. So that way we need to catch. Otherwise, will keep becoming a servicing country or servicing nation. Okay, so in IT we are doing servicing. In hardware also we are trying to catch up the curve, and we are pushing on the manufacturing just for getting the employment rates right. Okay, but if we invent something, then both of them, servicing and manufacturing, both can be done in India, and we can have a global position out there.
Got it. When we are speaking about we are providing many services, obviously India is also providing multiple EV technologies and outsourcing to the world, right? So can you list some where India is special in an optimistic view that we are doing good at this renewable energy or the EV technology sites?
Okay, so the company where I was working, Gensol. Okay, so they hold the record for cheapest solar energy ever produced. Okay, in the world. So that is a good part because renewable energy should be cheap enough. Otherwise, there is no point, right? So that is a small basic innovation that will directly help in the market. Apart from them, there's a company, I forgot the name, but they are making aloe vera based batteries. They are based out of Delhi or Gurgaon. So that is also a big leap in the energy technology. Then we have a company called Ion Energy, which got acquired by Maxwell, I guess. They are based out of Mumbai, and its founder is a good friend of mine, Akhil. So they have built a very smart BMS, and they are working with global battery pack manufacturers, where the algorithms and the AI is being trained in India, and they are supplying it to the world. Okay. Now, in terms of real core technology, you have to be ready enough for getting disappointed because there's no, like, even if I have told 2 3 points, they are not inventions, right? They are not breakthroughs. They are simply an incremental innovation, you can say, where you can get some PR from your story or any Forbes 30 under 30 thing, but you will not get a good reputation after 100 years, right? So that needs to be done.
Perfect.
And
Perfectly
and we
said.
we need to talk about it because if we are saying that things are going very fine, and let's celebrate entrepreneurship, let's celebrate any e-bike kit, or let's celebrate lithium battery pack manufacturers. Obviously, we can't do that. We are matured enough to talk sense, and we should know that we are lagging behind in some technologies. We are having many startups coming out which are good in fintech. We are good in fintech, we are good in entertainment, we are good in arts and all, but we are not good in tech. That we have to accept, and then we can try to build stuff around it.
Yes, really, I agree with that point. Coming to the statement of the renewable energy sources, most of the renewable energy sources that we use combines to nearly 45% only. Okay, it includes all hydro, solar, everything, and
Correct.
55% still comes from the fossil fuel state. So if we are
Mm.
taking the energy consumption data of India, 55%, I mean roughly around 55% is out of fossil fuels. Remaining non-fuel fossil fuels combines the remaining 45. So speaking of the EV supply chain, which is happening now currently in India, we charge the batteries and we have a marketing point that EVs are pollution free, right? Or pollution less vehicles. So living out the lithium ion pollutions that is happening apart from it, there are still a route behind where the thermal energy production or the fossil energy production also plays an important role on EV charging infrastructures. So, for example, if you are consuming 5 unit of current for charging, there are some statements which says that it is merely to the amount of fossil fuels that you burn here that a fossil fuel burns in the electrical power plant. So, where do you think this can be changed, or what will be the alternative that is going to come after a decade?
Okay. So this is a very famous question, right? So people normally compare EVs and fossil fuel vehicles or IC vehicles in that way only, and still they discuss about it. They want to discuss about it because it's fancy and all. So I'll put it in simple way. I'll not complex it by multiplying efficiencies of various mechanisms, and finally you will get this answer, and in a IC vehicle you will get this answer. That is a normal opinion. I'll simply put it in this way that the number of movable parts or number of parts in an EV are almost half of the IC vehicle parts. Okay. Now, considering same amount of emissions of all the parts, obviously EVs will win. That is point number one. Okay. Because
Okay.
there are no wear and tear parts or carburetor, engine, and everything, oil. So obviously there are no movable parts. Okay. There are no significant movable parts for EVs. Okay. That is the first point. Second point is if you compare the engine's efficiency, okay, that is 30 to 40% that is claimed, and obviously that is coming down to 28, 27%. Whereas the motor, which is inside the EV, that is operating at minimum 90% efficiency. Okay,
Hmm.
so even if we compare them, then also EV wins. Okay, the problem is I'll put a contrarian view also that the number of batteries that were produced 10 years ago are not the same as right now. Okay. So that has been increased, and for increasing the production of batteries, the amount of carbon emissions have been increased, and that is a big problem. But at scale, if it is replacing the IC vehicle parts, obviously it will make direct sense to us. Okay. And these batteries are not totally like biodegradable. Okay. So they are recyclable, and you can get rare earth elements at least twice. Okay. At least twice. So after second life also, you can get 30 to 40% capacity out of it. Okay. So that is efficient enough to get at least 10 to 15 years of life for an average EV.
Okay.
Okay. So
So
if you calculate the total carbon footprint, EVs will win by 3 to 4 times. Okay, within
that's
15 years of
interesting.
lifetime.
Okay. So I just got an amateur question when you said about this. So the number of let's keep the number of movable parts in count and comparatively to the lithium-ion battery pack. So whatever the battery pack, which is made of lithium, has a life cycle to be, if you have to tell it in years, it might be 3 years to 4 years. It can be extended to 5 years according to the number of cycles it is used, right? Post that, it has to be recycled and it has to come back to the same form. And this recycling is done for all the materials of the lithium ion battery. And
Right.
so most of the lithium ion is reused, but also has its own time period, right? So speaking of the contrarian way of IC engines, IC engines movable parts are casted and which is also reusable. It is not like we cannot reuse it.
Correct.
Uh, but the average lifetime of an IC, if we see, it is 15 years.
Hmm.
But an average lifetime of an EV is 3 to 5 years, which
Hmm.
is right now. So comparatively, don't you? I mean, is it not the same amount of carbon footprint that we are
Okay.
producing on lithium
Okay.
recycling as well as this?
Okay. 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 That's a fair question. So the thing is, I in IC vehicle, the efficiency is driven by the engine. Okay. And in EVs, the efficiency is driven by the powertrain. Okay. And that powertrain includes battery and motor both. Okay.
Okay.
Now, for each vehicle, okay, let's consider IC vehicle first. Okay. For each vehicle per year, there will be some degradation for the engine. And that's why we can say around 15 years, you can expect lifespan of it as 15 years. Okay. But for EVs, you are replacing the battery again and again. Okay. So you can compare the petrol to the battery. Okay. But you can't compare the IC engine to the battery. Okay, so batteries will be replaced, but the motors are they are also casted, right? So most of them will survive at least 5 to 6 years, at least 5 to 6 years. Okay, and if they are in perfect sync with the right specifications of the battery, they can easily give you 7 to 8 years of life. Okay, then some changes can directly hamper the efficiency of motor and all, but it will still be significant enough to directly beat the efficiencies of the engines that you are seeing. Okay, so if we
Okay.
have something hybrid or something else, then there's an option. Otherwise, with if we are comparing apples to apples, then obviously on the efficiency side, EVs will win. Okay. Now coming to one other point that if the number of wear and tear parts or movable parts are low, then there are high chances that EV motor will survive long enough and IC vehicles will not survive long enough. Okay, we are not directly comparing the age here, but the parameters that can directly hamper the efficiency will be significant for IC vehicles. But for EVs, it will be farly it will be far lesser than the IC vehicle.
Fair point. Recently, I was going through an article which said the amount of carbon footprints produced by specifically the tires of EVs due to the regenerative braking system is equivalent to the amount of fossil fuel carbon footprints that we are reducing. So EVs polluting the atmosphere a lot compared to fossil fuels. There was a report like this.
Mhm.
So if you have come across this, what do you think is the major problem in this and how can it be addressed?
Yeah, so I haven't seen that particular article, but see, there are a lot of experts and researchers who are like putting their research papers for citations or for any research gate score or anything like that. But I'm not saying that's wrong. But what I can say is, if you are comparing regenerative braking to the and its carbon footprint, okay, to the IC vehicle fossil fuel emission, you forgot that there's a battery inside an IC vehicle too, and that is charged using a dynamo. Okay, that dynamo is a regenerative braking system only. It is not braking related, but it is a regenerative system. Okay, so every vehicle on this planet is an EV. Okay, because at least at the starting you will be having a battery. Okay, and any vehicle which is having a battery, that is an EV. Okay, but the type is different: hybrids, weak hybrid, strong hybrid. There are various types. But see, if you are comparing regenerative action, then it should be compared with the regenerative action of IC vehicles as well, right? And there you have startles also, you have kick also. So those parts are compare them as well. The calorific value of the amount of energy that is put for kicking a scooter or for kicking any two wheeler, that should be also taken into account. Now, that's why when we talk about a cup of coffee, there are like 16,000 gallons of water that is consumed or that is wasted for creating a cup of coffee. So, in the same way, when we are comparing it apples to apples, we need to take care of the whole cycle that goes beyond a certain point.
Fair point, Shubham, actually. Uh, so really, we have diverted a lot about the internal
Yeah, yeah.
topics. Let us come back to what EVs are actually inside it. So when we are speaking about the EV doctor, that we are using multiple AI and 18 ML languages for doing your EV thing, uh, don't I mean I just wanted to out of the my curiosity, I just wanted to understand uh, over this 5 years of the industrial life, you have an ample amount of 2 lakh plus data sets, which runs your product particularly, right? Uh, why any other OEMs who are already working on this sector, who already owns their own electric vehicle? It might be there are multiple OEMs who are in this EV sector, right? Why do you think the other EV players didn't touch on this point? Or is there a place where they touched on it, but it didn't come out, or it is not? Why do you think it is not as efficient as EV Doctor does?
Okay. So that's a fair point. The thing is, we are not saying that they are not doing it. Most of the EV OEMs, they have their own diagnostics tool, they have OBD port, and they are doing their own checking and diagnostic stuff. The thing is, most of the OEMs, even if they are doing it, they will not inform the customer. Okay. They'll use that data as an advantage for them for creating some income stream from the service side. So that is number one. Second thing, this problem is not big enough for them to solve. Okay. They are focusing on the EV sales. You have seen those charts. This month, these are the top 10 EV sellers in India. Okay. So they want to make into that list only. And that's a fair point. Obviously, that is business, and they have to do that for the stakeholders, for the investors, and for the customers as well. But for them, diagnostics is not number one priority. Okay. So we have been working with many of the OEMs, like 100 plus OEMs we are working with, and they deal with us in a way that diagnostics is your forte, you do that. Sales is our forte, marketing is our forte, or the catering best to the customers is our forte. Let us do that. Okay. We can collaborate so that we can give the best to the customers. That is for sure. But we will not directly jump to the point where we are doing your stuff and you are trying to do our stuff. Okay. So they respect, like 80 to 90% of them respect what we are doing, because initially what we do, we do a pilot test, we do a demo for them. They bring a lot of damaged or harmed batteries with us. So they want to test it against the worst. Okay. So even in the worst condition, if the EV doctor is performing well, then they will be catering it to their dealers and distributors. Okay. So they follow that SOP, and then only they are suggesting it to the dealers and distributors. Okay. So the number one point is this problem is not big enough. Second problem is some of those OEMs are using diagnostic data or monitoring data to their advantage. So they are
Okay,
not showing enough data points to the customers.
okay, they're not transparent as enough. Like,
So
uh,
I'll put a question for the audience. Okay, if you own an EV, where on the dashboard or where on the app or where on which screen can you see the safety or the health of the battery? Okay,
okay,
and if that health or safety parameter is reliable enough, have they tested it against any standard? Okay, so if that is done, there is no point of selling EV doctor. And one day when we are not selling any EV doctor, that means all batteries are okay. That means we won.
okay. So don't you think making this perspective as transparent, for example, the battery health as transparent one, don't you think it will affect the customer retention point for the companies?
So you can reframe that. I'm not saying that you have to say that your battery is about to fire run. Okay, obviously they can't show that, but you have to take care of the customers, right? So in India, customer experience in average is very pathetic. Okay, so if you want to have a coffee or a tea, if the tea or coffee is bad enough and you want to complain, obviously you are not getting your money back. Okay,
Yeah.
at most there you will get a sorry. Okay, and that is not a sorry, that is just a spoken word. Okay, he is unapologetic about it. Okay, so what we have seen from our eyes also, they will say that we care about the customers and all, but they will not share any crucial data which they are using it for their purposes. So there's one example that many cab companies, what they do, or many travel companies, what they do, depending upon your battery percentage, they increase the price. Okay, because you'll be in a hurry, or you'll be taking decisions in an urgent manner. So they directly leverage that. And if they say that why don't you put on the battery saver mode, okay, and we will reduce the price. Okay, that can be done, but they will not
Hmm.
do that.
Coming to the, I mean, same, I'm digging deep inside this, if you don't mind. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
Coming to this particular topic of showing the battery health to the customers, I'm thinking myself as a, from the customer point of view. So if we basically see the battery has a cycle period, right? So
correct.
if I'm using it for 2 years and after 2 years, if it has any health issues, I mean, the due to the multiple time of fast charging, the dendrites might be formed, and obviously I don't know how the health would be. So if it is taken silently inside the company, company knows what it is and they can replace or reframe it. But if a customer knows what happened in 2 years, just for example, how these fire accident incidents of EV batteries made a big
Correct, correct.
change in
Hmm.
the OEMs, this might also take a shift over the OEMs, right? For example, now I'm buying an EV and the battery health after 2 years, it is telling the battery health is bad and you have to change the battery or take it to your OEM. If this case applies for the next five of the customers, that might affect my future customer end, right? So
Hmm.
after 2 to 3 years, if someone is coming for buying an EV of my company, basically what I'll think is, oh, this company has these many problems in the battery. Why should I opt for it? Some other companies they are promising on a
Yeah, yeah,
differentiate. I can
correct,
buy
correct.
them.
So got it, got it. So if they, so you are making this point that suppose OEMs are not showing the data, obviously the customers wouldn't be retained, and this OEMs know, right? The thing is, how
Yes.
can customers reach out to the OEMs
Okay.
on
Service
Twitter,
centers.
on LinkedIn? Okay,
Yeah.
and on Twitter and LinkedIn, you know that obviously the CEO will not respond. Obviously,
Hmm.
there will be a
There's a
bot
team.
running there, okay, or a support team which will say we are like sorry for the inconvenience and all, but it will not solve the problem of 1 lakh rupees or 1.5 lakh rupees. Okay, and we have seen the problems ground up. Okay, so we haven't built this product by following a protocol or by putting a OCPP thing or by integrating with the CAN BMS and all. Okay, we have built this product ground up because we have seen customers crying. We have seen a dealer where we were working together, and after 2 months, he shuttered his shop down because customers were not enough. We have seen many so-called branded OEMs, EV OEMs, who are not taking care of the dealers. They are simply dumping the models to dealers, and they expect them to sell, and they haven't like clarified on the complaints yet. So I'm not digging deep into the negative part of it. I'm just saying that OEMs have to take care of the customers in a positive manner. It is not just about the sales and subsidies. You have to also take care on the after sales support side.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Got it. So EVs we have covered a lot. Now we will move on to the future of the technological system for mobility, which is yet to come and which is booming right now even. So EVs, I would say we didn't start EVs at the early stages. They were somewhere in the last or the middle stage of starting EV revolution in India. But EV is growing in India far better compared to the other foreign countries. Uh, Similarly, there is an other concept called hydrogen fuel, right? So there is a biggest debate going on between a fuel cell, a hydrogen fuel one, as well as an EV battery. So comparatively, hydrogen has many advantages over an EV battery. Also, there are drawbacks for a hydrogen perspective because the production of hydrogen is still having many efficiency losses. Otherwise, comparing to the energy consistency, people say that hydrogen are far better than EV. So where do you
Hmm.
think this might lead to, the hydrogen
Okay.
and the EV race?
Yeah, got it. So mainly, the drawback is not on the production side because hydrogen is produced as a byproduct in many industries. Okay, mainly the problem is on the controlling side. Okay, so if you
Hmm.
have, so you can simply compare it to the CNG vehicles. Okay, and obviously the form factor will be different, the efficiency will be different, and every technical parameter will be different. But for layman terms, I can explain it in the same. I can have that analogy, right? Now the thing is we have to control the hydrogen. It comes first in the periodic table. Okay, so we need to understand the reactivity or the activity uh, it carries. Okay,
Hmm.
now hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon. Okay, so hydrogen is the first one. Helium is a noble gas, so we can leave that. Then comes the lithium. Okay, we are already at lithium, and now we are talking about hydrogen. Here lithium is not carried well enough. Okay, we are not handling batteries well enough. We are abusing them in the same way as we used to abuse remote cells and lead acid batteries, right? So, and we are I have seen the abused batteries, okay, and numbers of it, thousands of such lithium ion batteries. So we know how people behave to that, so we need to have awareness for that first. And on the hydrogen fuel side, we can have more controlling mechanisms in parallel with the refining thing. Okay.
Okay.
Now, in hydrogen, putting things into perspective, for hydrogen, Japan is very optimistic. They are not very optimistic about EVs, as you know. But soon, I expect or I predict that there will be uh, a hybrid kind of thing where initially and finally you will have EV access, and in between you will be having a combination of hydrogen and ICE engine vehicles. That might happen soon.
Okay. So even that is happening now, the hydrogen as a fuel for ICE vehicles. Uh,
Yeah, that is
the,
happening, but in parallel, like in combination with EV, that will also happen because
the hybrid
we
mode.
we have a yeah hybrid, but like sort of hybrid. So yeah,
Hmm.
that we can see.
That's interesting. Similarly, when we come down into a product of battery, currently we started with lithium ion. I mean, we started with lead acid battery, then we came upon lithium ion, and LFP came. And do you have any idea about the blade battery system? How they
Yeah,
specifically designed it?
Yeah, so we uh, we learned about it when we were learning about normal battery packs and the chemistries of it. And I saw one article where a guy was saying that BYD blade batteries are a breakthrough. Now, every battery innovation is a breakthrough these days, okay, in terms of the PR they catch or anything like that. Now, coming to the technical perspective of it, it is basically it is having LFP cells only, so they are obviously flare-proof or fireproof, you can say. But obviously, during hazardous conditions, smokes will come out. Okay, in blade batteries, no smoke will come out because all the cells are placed in a proper proportion so that whenever any heat or any hazard happens, okay, or any small heat dissipation also happens, it happens in an efficient way. Okay, so due to the higher surface area between the cells, the volumetric energy density improves. Okay, so getting same amount of energy from that battery is safe enough because of the obviously it has a drawback that it is having a higher form factor, a bigger form factor, but the heat dissipation is easy. So that creates a good volumetric efficiency for the BYD's plate batteries, and it is having a good overall acceptance because of the higher efficiency on the hazardous point. And in parallel with that, it also eliminates the leakage currents. Okay, because of the because of the good amount of distance between the cells. Okay, so it is not having a much chemistry level breakthrough, but an arrangement level breakthrough. Okay, so if you consider battery swapping, it is not an innovation. Okay, but it is an innovation if you consider the arrangement of it or the framework of it.
Yeah. So do you think, I mean, currently, as far as I know, we are using the blade batteries for four-wheelers only. And even Tesla
Hmm.
is for one of the model it is getting from BYD, right?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
think
yeah,
it
yeah.
will come down to two-wheelers?
Yeah. So for two-wheeler, so we need to understand the form factors first. Right now, lithium batteries come in three forms. Okay, pouch, prismatic, and cylindrical. Okay, for two-wheelers, cylindrical cells are best because they are light enough, they are repairable enough, they are like having lower maintenance cost than the prismatic and pouch ones. Okay, pouch cells are used whenever you are using them for lightweight applications. Okay,
Hmm.
but they don't have good energy density in them. Prismatic ones are used for heavy duty applications in three wheelers and four wheelers mainly. For two wheelers, we can obviously try that, but many of the startups and battery pack manufacturers have tried them and they are not getting good efficiency versus cost ratio. Okay, so the cost and the efficiency is not matching enough. Otherwise, there are no direct disadvantages of using blade batteries for the two wheelers. So
Okay.
once the
Okay.
cost goes down, obviously efficiency versus cost will go
So
up.
you say the cost of pouch cell is higher than the cylindrical cell?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So considering the same specs, the cost is higher. Okay,
Okay.
so that is the thing. So per kilowatt hour, if you finalize the cost, then cylindrical ones will be the most like cost friendly. Okay,
Got it.
that is it.
So now I want to take you to a debate of the now you mentioned a topic, right? The swappables. So there is always a thing going behind the inbuilt battery system as well as the swappable battery system. So according to your perspective, what do you think which is the best? Which is the best that will give for the customer and for the business perspective also?
Okay, so swappable, not for the commercial purpose. Okay, so there are high chances that if I own an EV, I'll be not charging at a random point where guy is sitting or no guy is sitting, and I'm replacing my battery with another guy's battery. Okay, so that is there. But how can it help a normal customer that if he or she is living in a flat or he or she can directly take that battery and charge it along because that's a society owner or any guy from the society won't allow him or her for getting it charged publicly, right? Second thing, where swappable infra can directly make sense is for the commercial applications. Okay, so B2B guys or the e-commerce guys, they can directly use it because there is no ownership experience or like okay, so they can directly use it in Bangalore, Delhi, and Gurgaon and Noida. The Delhi NCR and Bangalore, there are n number of companies who are doing swapping. Okay, because and most of their customers are e-com guys only. Okay,
Okay.
so that is already happening. In terms of mass scale, swappable batteries can make sense if all of them are second life EV batteries. Okay,
Okay.
so the cost will come down and there will be no ownership bias towards that.
So do you think now creating a swappable battery startup is a good idea for anyone who's coming to this field?
If you are building swappable infra, then you need to have okay, you can have 100 numbers of old batteries. You can get them tested that then start one with that because overall costs will come down and you can have like more number of people getting to you instead of getting you to them.
Okay, that's great. Uh, Now, similarly, moving on from the swappables and to the inbuilt batteries, uh, if I mean my consideration is if the battery system is as unique as the charging system that we have now. For example, we are using the C-type charger, right? So we had the B-type charger and we moved to the C-type charger and just made universal for all. Similarly, do you think at a point the batteries that we use will also be the unique I mean, the common batteries which can be shifted for any EV, or will still this battery design changes continue for the entire period of time? What is your idea on it?
Yeah, they'll be standardized because uh, right now the only factor that is differentiating all the EV manufacturers is the powertrain they are using. Otherwise, on the battery side, there is no much difference, right? So if only power changes are there and everybody can copy any other specs, okay, and you will get the same power. The powertrain efficiency is the main play, so standardization will happen, but obviously due to monopoly or lobbying and all, some brands will follow the Pareto principle.
Okay, that's fair. It feel like I'm sitting in a physics class and asking questions to a staff of physics. Uh, that's great. Sam. So now, finally, I come back to a basic startup life. We have spoken a lot technical stuffs, which I guess obviously it will be useful for some technical guys who are coming inside. Coming to the startup perspective, uh, I'd like to know how many investors have you seen, and how was the journey of investment was?
Okay, so we have seen, I have met 100 plus investors, okay, till date in 5 years, okay, and I haven't pitched my idea to any of them. So that is the case. Uh, I just thought to meet them and see how they behave, how they have their tea, how they have their coffee. I've met Sridhar Bambu sir, I've met Sanjeev Vikchandani sir, I've met Anupam Mittal, I've met Aman Gupta and all. But not for pitching our idea because there I'll be just like all the founder guys or startup guys who are pitching their products and begging for the money. But instead of that, we just tried to network, we tried to learn, and we thought of building a real profitable business. So the first thing or the final thing which I can say after meeting a good number of people or the credible folks in the industry, I've met cabinet ministers also, Ashwini Vaishnav uh, S. Jaishankar ji, then Ashwini Vaishnav ji, then I have met Piyush Goyal ji. After learning from, like taking learnings from them, I found that you have to build your own stuff. Life is lonely, and you have to take care of that, and you have to make some stuff out of it.
That's awesome. So recently I found a post, you and Tarun on a same screen. Is there
Yeah,
anything that we
yeah.
can expect that is
So
coming
we are
on between you both?
no, no, no. So nothing to be expected. So we I met him twice before this, and I just like meeting people. Just like we are meeting. So I like to exchange ideas. I like to learn. I like to put my things and my perspective and my opinions and have some insights from the other guy. I have not pitched them anything yet. They are already doing their diagnostic stuff, and I respect Ether because they have built the product ground up. So there is a huge respect for them, Tarun, Swapnil, and the team who are doing good work at Ether. So obviously they are doing their stuff. We are working on something else, but and I took his perspective on it. That can we try it because it is not done in USA or China yet. So let's can we try that in India? So he was putting his perspective because he was working in a similar kind of project during his bachelor's. So
Okay.
yeah,
So when you said about this, I just want curious to know if you're comfortable. Can you tell me what is your next milestone in battery? Okay.
yeah. The next milestone is to have software version of EV Doctor. So
Okay.
you don't have to carry EV Doctor. You will be having every EV will be having diagnostics of EV Doctor. So just like Intel Inside, you will be having EV Doctor Inside for your batteries. Okay, so you don't have to worry about your batteries. You don't have to worry that OEM will take care or dealer will take care of your batteries. We will take care of your batteries. You roam freely from point A to point B. So that is our first milestone. And second milestone is to build a real EV. The form factor is not finalized yet, but we have started learning about electric supercars. So yeah, we are going in that direction.
That's really awesome. I'm expecting for it. So when you are telling about this having your device inside the EV itself, Peter, is it like you will be having it on the battery, or is it like you'll be having on the EV side? I mean the
So
hardware of it.
yeah, yeah. So we will be having our software that will be integrated with the BMS.
Okay, integrated with the
So
BMS
there is,
itself. Correct.
yeah, yeah. So there is no physical module attachment or anything like that.
Okay, then fine. Now this BMS is something like you will provide, or the company will implement yours inside it.
Yeah, yeah. Second one, they'll be implementing our software. So that's
Okay.
why Intel Inside for batteries, you can say. Okay, so
Okay.
people were making PCs, and the chip part was taken care of by Intel. We are obviously like not even one tenth of Intel at that time was, but in a layman terms, we make sure that. So you have seen Harman speakers, you have seen Dolby Digital for speakers and all, but for batteries there is none. So we are making sure that every battery on Earth, they'll be having battery OK inside. So you don't have to worry about your battery.
That's great. What is your revenue model in battery OK technologies?
So we partner up with OEMs. They use it for their QC and R&D initially. They approve it.
Okay.
Mainly it is done by R&D head and service head. Then they mainly they buy 10 to 15 initially for their purposes, for the plant and all. Then they provide it to their respective dealers. Okay, so they buy it from us and they provide it to their dealers. Even if their dealers directly try to contact us, we directly have that way that you should contact your OEMs because they are in touch with us. If they are not in touch with us, there are many companies who have gone obsolete. So their dealers call us for getting EV doctor. We directly supply it to them. So that is our business
Okay.
model.
That's nice. Uh, so I want few advices on the perspective of some new guy coming inside the startup. Consider myself as a 20-year-old guy, or any 20-year-old guy is there and he's trying to come inside this. So first thing, when we are speaking about the you like to meet people and share the thoughts, right? So how do you find people for sharing your thoughts, or how do you find your mentor, or anything also? What the formula that you follow?
Okay, so I normally I have a WhatsApp group. Okay, so including me only. So there I write the people I will admire or I would admire in my feed. Okay, so I list them down. Okay, and mostly that happens after 10 p.m. Okay, so I randomly search people. I randomly read about some people or blogs, and sometimes technical blogs, sometimes non-technical blogs, and it is consisting of all the people's names whom I respect and whom I admire. I try to meet them through. I typically type a one-liner or two-liner on LinkedIn if that is open. Otherwise, I send the invite and I wait for them to connect. Okay, to accept the connect request. Otherwise, what I do, I like I trouble them on other social media platforms. Okay, so that they can see that this guy exists and I need to meet this guy. So this is the typical process, and you have to be vulnerable. So my only advice, which if I got, then I would have met 100 people more, that you have to be vulnerable. You don't have to be don't have to sound like your favorite influencer. Okay, you have to be yourself, and you can directly ask that, sir, you might have faced this problem during your journey. I am facing the same. Can you help? And I have seen that people will help, founders help. But if you are like nudging initially and then asking for the job, that is, I'm not saying that is wrong, but then you should directly mention that this is regarding career option and all. So
Okay,
they have limited time and don't respect that time.
got it. Coming to the second point, so you have connected with a lot of investors, right? So basically, you would have an idea of what they are thinking. Uh,
Hmm.
in the perspective
Yeah.
of a new startup buddy
Hmm.
seeking for an investor, how
Hmm.
should he create his pitch deck?
Okay. So pitch deck, I was told by Tarun Mehta only, okay, during our first meet, that don't waste your time on presentation and decks. Okay, you
Okay.
have to spend more time on the product and convincing your customers. Okay, so that was a great insight, and I got de-incubated. I wrote a de-incubation letter because we were incubated in some incubation center. So I wrote the incubation letter and I forwarded it to all of them. Okay, because in those centers, there were more mentors than the number of startups. Okay, so that directly impacts the growth of the startups because they are monitored regularly and guided irregularly. Okay, so
Okay.
instead of that, you have to focus on your customer. And while for a new guy in the startup space or who wants to create decks and all, you can directly follow Slidebean. Uh, Slidebean, Kai, I don't know the name of the person. I think Kai is there. So his team is making awesome pitch decks. And right now there are n number of decks available on the internet. You can directly copy them. In parallel with that, you can follow the template of Sequoia also, which they have put it on in the internet, and you can simply follow that template for creating the deck as well. So that works, but don't waste a lot of time getting the fonts right and getting the colors right just because you saw one internet video where a guy is talking about typography and motion graphics. That doesn't mean that that is enough for your customer. Okay, so 99% to the customer and 1% of the things around. Okay, don't put 99% of your focus on the things around and 1% on the customer.
So basically, the product should speak, not your pitch deck,
Yeah.
right?
So product means product, like not just a product, because many times we are engineers, right? So we get attracted to our product, our creation, and we are not caring enough about the customer. Okay, so we daily come, we see that, we feel some special thing about it, and we change the features and all. Okay, so you don't have to be around the product. You have to be around the customer who is loving the product.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and
That was really insightful.
taking the feedback mechanism rightly, you can improve the product. Otherwise, I have seen many hardware startups getting failed just because they were sitting around the product and they were daily posting renders and photos of the product they are working on. So that
Okay.
can create some amount of engagement on social media, but obviously that can't create customers and revenue.
That was really thought provoking. So I just found that we crossed our time. So if you're comfortable, can we increase 15 more minutes?
Yeah, yeah, no worries,
Yeah,
definitely.
thank you. Thanks for that, Shubham. Uh, so we spoke about how to create a pitch deck and where to concentrate on, as well as the financial perspective. Now I have created a product. I have found my target customers, and the investment is ready. How do I ensure that I maintain my customer retention?
Okay. So retention doesn't come from frameworks. Okay. So if you are following any framework that is available on the internet and someone is saying that you have to increase your NPS and these are the parameters you have to follow for getting to the NPS. This is the NPS score you have to maintain and all. So that is all bullshit. The thing is, you can do the customer retention only by caring about the customers. Okay. So if you are solving a normal problem of delivering milk to any family and you want high retention, obviously retention is not just a function of cost. It is a function of many experiences and many parameters. So you have to see what exactly is the customer liking about your product or about your service, and are you able to replicate that even without your presence. Okay.
Okay.
If even without your presence, you are able to replicate that, then there is high chances of good retention. Okay, so Jeff Bezos started Amazon when he was delivering goods by himself. Okay, but he replicated that experience to 100x or 1000x levels. Okay, and that experience never got bitter. Okay, so that was the biggest learning I had, that you should be obsessed about the customer. The retention or the LTV or the CAC will follow. Okay, but in India, most of the founders, they follow the template. They reduce the CAC, they increase the LTV, they nudge or they fudge the projections. Okay, just for the investors' sake, and eventually they die. Okay, uh, so the thing is, if you care enough about the customers, you will know what they want repetitively, and what you can replicate easily.
Okay. So I want you to take some couple of minutes and share your thoughts on the climate point. So I want you to split it on based of a people based. So economically, how people should handle it on a new startup founders who are trying to build something inside this space. I wanted to give some thoughts for them as well as who are already existing in the platform of business. So,
Okay.
what you would like to tell based on the climate as well as based on the future development that they should concentrate on your perspective?
Okay, okay. So I'm not a good speaker when it comes to the climate change part, that you have to save electricity, you can do these things. So that is available on the internet. You can go through that. But I'll talk about the future developments where you can focus upon, which will have a significant impact on the earth and on our lives as well. So first thing is, you can focus upon the thermal batteries, because the Earth's temperature is at least increasing by 1 degree Celsius per year. So that will directly be a good factor for making batteries which are capable of storing heat in any way. There's a startup I forgot, Antora Energy. So they are building thermal batteries. They got funded from Bill Gates Breakthrough Ventures, and they are building carbon blocks which can store the heat for long, and that heat will be used for heating up water to get steam out of it, and you will get electricity from the turbines and all. Okay, so that is already there. Then TEC modules you can use. Then super geothermal startups are there. So they are building geothermal setups for smaller spaces. Okay, and that is also possible. So by converting heat to electricity is very important. So you can start working on that. Second one is green fertilizers. So as our consumption, there are around 8 billion people on Earth. The consumption will obviously increase, or it won't decrease, because we are wasting a lot of resources, right? So it won't decrease, right? So the thing is, if we have green fertilizers at place, we can directly replace insecticides and pesticides, and even the existing fertilizers, which are not fertilizers, they are insecticides, they are chemicals only, but branded as fertilizers. Okay, we can have some combination of manure or fertilizers, so that they can directly help in plantation and vegetation part. Third thing which I am quite positive about is having any sort of electricity production from the vibrations. Okay, so whenever there is a movement, there should be an electricity. We have seen multiple uh, children projects, kids projects, or engineering projects where they are using piezoelectric materials, or they are using strain gauge load cells or Stirling engines, anything like that. But we need to have efficient systems so that the vibrations can be converted to electricity. Then uh, carbon monitoring or carbon credit monitoring, if we have startups around it, where per product carbon emissions calculation is possible, then that will really create a big impact. Okay, so the camera that you might be using, or the camera I am using, they have also consumed carbon, okay, or they have also contributed to some CO2 emissions. Okay. So if per product carbon emissions calculation is possible, then that will directly empower government also and institutions also and policymakers also. In that way, you can create a big impact. So the revenue model for that will be complex, but firstly, this thing will be important enough. Then we will be having carbon neutral factories that are possible. So we can have them. So that will directly impact the industrial growth along with the rural growth or the agricultural growth. Apart from that, we can also focus upon the products where you can increase the power of, or you can leverage the power of AI for getting energy to the masses. Okay, so right now, the electricity is available across India, right? So the people have claimed that 100% of India is having electrification. Okay, but we know that most of them, or 60-70% of them, is powered are powered by microgrids. Okay. Now those microgrids need maintenance. They get cut off several times due to weather conditions and all. Okay. So even the capital of India, Delhi, they face a lot of power cuts and all. Okay. So that directly hampers the economy of the nation, and that also uh, hampers daily activities which youth might get involved in. So these are the few focus areas where you can work upon. So most of them, like I'm betting on converting heat to electricity. So that is the major point where we like where I see future upon.
That was really, I could tell you that as brainstorm that which you gave all these data. So irrespective, final question of this podcast series, irrespective of the technical perspectives that you have said, if there is one advice you could give for a 21-year-old who is coming inside to start anything new of his own, what would it be?
One advice.
Or a bunch of advice if you could give, but what specifically you would tell which you faced hard or which you missed to concentrate on, something that you are wishing to tell
Okay.
the
Okay.
people.
Okay. So I'll tell them that consume content attentively. Okay, so you or you can say consume content selectively. Don't consume everything that you see on the internet. Okay, so you just like suppose you are going to a restaurant or a food joint, you should know what you have to order. You
Okay.
don't have to see to the menu and decide and roam around because it wastes a lot of time. I have wasted a lot. I don't want that others should waste their times as well.
That was really interesting thing because nowadays, as you said, the content that we consume, most of the are irrelevant,
Yeah,
which we
yeah,
do
yeah.
not seek for.
So correct, correct. 95 to 98% of them is useless only. It's just that you want to feel productive. That
Hmm.
I've consumed this content where that guy was talking about business model, or that guy was talking about how to sell saris in 15 minutes. So obviously that is not your forte. You are a technical person. So I'm talking to that person, that young guy. Okay, you are a technical person, or you are uh, belonging to some field. Take that seriously. Play play it along, play with the stuff that you have around. Don't waste your time on random contents scrolling.
Thanks for that, Shubham. We have came to the conclusion of our podcast after 1 hour 45 minutes that we have spent all together today. First of all, I'd like to extend a heartful thanks, I would say, because uh, this has been my first series in the climate energy one. Uh, so what I expected. I would say I have gained 200% of what I expected on today's podcast, obviously, because you are the one I'm speaking first with an department or the EV vertical. So we have spoken a lot technical stuffs about it, and I guess this podcast should really be very insightful for someone who's coming and touching upon the EV form factor or any climate form factor in his startup. So thanks for your time entirely today, Shubham.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. You are
Yeah,
doing a
so
good stuff and keep doing it. Yeah.
yeah, thank you.